Do you guys hear that?
Is that boss music?
Go naked and just go with the sword, and that's it.
What do I do with all this?
It says it in the title.
I'm a slut for roguelites.
Hello. Welcome back to the Unearthing Games Podcast. My name is Erica, and I'll be your lead excavator today. I am also joined today by Nick.
Howdy.
And we dig games. So what have you been up to, Nick, since the last time we recorded?
Well, I mean, not a whole lot, honestly. I have been going through a lot of, I bought this bundle on itch.io, right, that has, like, thousands of games. I mean, it says thousands of games. A lot of them are, like, asset packages for, like, if I wanted to make my own games. Like, you know, like, it's, like, tile assets and stuff like that for if I wanted to make, like an isometric RPG or something like that, kind of like Legend of Zelda style and things like that.
Yeah.
It's just like asset kits is what a lot of it is. But it does have a lot of games in it. And like I've been going through it a lot lately because like 3,000 things is a lot to look through.
Yeah.
And the way that they have their thing set up is like only way you can look through the bundle is to go page by page. And then when you click on one of them and download it, then it adds it into your library that is easy to look through. But it only does that once you go and download it.
If you uninstall it, does it stay in your library?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It only goes in there, like I said, if you basically go and download it once.
Yeah.
Then it's like, oh, they actually wanted this purchase. Here we go. We'll put it in their library.
That's annoying.
It is very annoying, right? Because it makes it kind of hard to search for, like I want to know. Like, and I keep finding, like, games that I've heard of that I'm like, oh, I actually wanted to play this. That's kind of, like, the game I'm going to talk about today is one of those ones that I found it in that bundle. And I was like, oh, I remember, this is on my Steam wish list. I didn't know this was in here.
Yeah.
And so I removed it from my Steam wish list now that I have it.
We did make a big Excel listing of all of the games on that, though, didn't we?
We did, but the issue with that is still looking through 3,000 names. Because it's like, you know, there's a lot of games in existence. And there's a lot of games that I either would like to play or want to play or want to buy, or some Venn diagram of those three.
Yeah, those items.
And so, still, like I said, there's one on there I also found called, that I'll probably talk about later, called Overland, that I remember seeing at PAX by this group called, like, Finji. Their logo is like a cute little, like, fox, right?
Yeah.
And it is a weird little, like, isometric, turn-based. It makes you think of, like, XCOM, where, like, you click on the person and they have, like, so far they can move and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it seems like a post-apocalypse survival game, you know?
Okay.
And it's been on my Steam wishlist for a long time. And it's like, oh, it's in this bundle.
You need to just go through your wish list and compare it to the bundle, just so you know for sure.
But that's the problem, is I can't search the bundle.
Well, you can in the Excel listing we made.
There we go. Okay. All right, you're right. That's how we'll do it. But so I've been going through that. It's pretty cool. I'm really liking the idea behind itch.io.
Yeah.
At first, I was kind of like, this is a lot of crazy stuff. And it's because it kind of is. Like, if you think about it, like, itch.io is the place where, like, it's like basically like early access haven sort of thing, where, like, someone's like, hey, I made a little thing. You know, it may not be a full-blown AAA game, but I made a thing. Yeah. And it's a game. And if you'd like to play it, some of them have it where you can download it for free. Some of them have it where it's like, would you like to tip the person for this game? Like a name your price kind of thing.
Yeah.
Or some of them will just be like, you know, hey, pay $5 and you can play this game. And you know me. I'm a sucker for, if I can get $5 worth of fun out of a thing. Like, that's my whole, part of my whole reason for playing, like, indie games is like, yeah, I may not fall in love with all of them, but if I can get $5 to $10 worth of fun out of it, then it's worth it to me.
Yeah.
Where when you buy a $60 game and you're kind of like,
you feel like you're forced to have fun.
Yeah, it's like I pick it up and like I'm only kind of enjoying this.
Yeah.
And I instantly have that buyer's remorse where if I only paid $5 and I don't fall in love with it right away, I don't feel bad because I only paid $5. I supported someone's dream.
Yeah.
And I loved it or I didn't love it, you know?
Yeah.
But like $60 titles, like it's, I have a hard time now justifying paying $40 to $60 for a game.
Yeah.
Unless, like, it's, like, from a group that I know and trust. Like, I know, like, this group's never let me down. I will pay $60 for their thing. Like, if Dark Souls 4 dropped tomorrow, I would probably buy it in a heartbeat. I wouldn't think twice about it, because From Software, they've never failed to abuse me. And so I would do it. But, like, you know, it's hard. That's why I don't really like AAA titles anymore.
Yeah.
Not that I don't play AAA titles. Like, I loved Star Wars Fallen Order.
Yes.
You know, that was a AAA Dark Souls-y Star Wars game, you know? And I loved it. But I would say that's totally a AAA game. And I really enjoyed it. But, like, itch.io, it seems like, basically, if Steam catered primarily to just indie devs, and that was all they did, that's itch. And so I'm really curious now, and I kind of want to go and look through itch and see. I'm not buying anything right now. We have the 3,000 things in the bundle I bought, as well as, like, the hundreds of things we've got in Steam and Xbox and places.
Yeah.
So I've been doing a lot of that, looking through things, playing different stuffs. Your sister came to visit.
Yes.
And her husband. I was about to
Yes.
say fiancés, like, but they've been married like 2 years now.
Almost 2 years now.
Yeah, they've been married a while. And I was really surprised. Like, I kind of jokingly suggested, like, hey, let's play board games. And they did it.
Yeah, I've never, I mean, like I've said in, like, the first episode of this podcast, growing up, my sister never wanted to play board games with me, so I was always very sad. I only have one sister, so she didn't want to play, then I couldn't play.
Yeah, you have no one else to play with.
But yeah, she was totally down for playing board games.
Yeah,
and she
like,
won a lot.
I know. As the evening progressed, like, she got drunker and drunker.
Yeah.
And I think this it kind of solidifies my, like, drunken master theory. You know, where, like, as you get drunker, maybe you're better at games.
But she started losing at the end.
I think you were, like, getting on your game. You know, like, maybe you were.
Could be.
I think you
needed
were
a
off your
refresh.
game because you were like, huh, my sister doesn't play games. Why is she winning? You know, so you were off your game. You're like, what? This is nonsense. And then, like, you, like, you know, you cranked it up to 11, and you're like, I'm gonna take her down, and you did. But I was really surprised. Like, we spent an entire afternoon/evening.
Yeah.
We played so many rounds of Catan and Sushi Go.
We played one round of Planet.
And I was really surprised how much fun your sister had with Planet.
Well, I had even forgotten that we had showed her Planet before, but she was like, "Yeah, I remember this game. You put the," and I was like, "Oh, I guess we did."
We must have played with her at least once. I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember playing Planet with her. Like, I don't remember playing a lot of games with her because we haven't.
but I was still really surprised at how much they loved Catan.
Yeah.
Like, it was so great. Like, her husband, I feel so bad for him. He kept losing so badly. Like, I know the first game of Catan,
You lost.
I
miserably.
had 2 points. The
Yes,
2
you did.
points you start the game with, that was what I had, because the statistical probabilities numbers or whatever lied to me. Basically, RNGesus was like, no. Just no, Nick. I'm like, but I put myself right next to the 6s and 8s. Those are the red numbers.
We rolled
Those are
so
supposed
many...
to happen. And it was 9 and 10 and 5.
9, 10, and 5.
Those were not red numbers.
No.
Those are not the statistically likely numbers to happen in Catan. So that first game was real rough for me. Real rough. But like you said, your sister won most of them. She did really well.
Yeah, I remember she won like 3 in a row. And one of them, me and her husband were, he was like, I need a brick. And he needed it to make the longest road, and he would have taken it from her, which would have taken 2 points away. And so he went after me. So on my turn, I traded in my stuff for a brick, and I was like, here, just take it. Here you go.
But then she got a taste of what you go through with my family, where it's the whole, why is everyone after me? And it's like, because you keep winning. That's why we're after you. Because you keep winning.
Yeah.
And so...
Yeah, I don't know how she kept winning.
I don't... Yeah,
Catan.
I don't get it either. Like, because as far as I know, that was both of their first times playing that game.
Yeah.
And so it made me so happy. And it kind of makes me want to go and try to, like, write a new review for Catan. I know there's probably hundreds, if not thousands, of reviews for that game.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about it, and I think it would make sense to do it, though, because just because there are a lot of reviews for it doesn't mean that there are new reviews for it.
Yeah.
You know? Like, it's the kind of thing, like, how does the game feel to a new generation, to a new to in the new era, basically. Like, there's so many games now. I know Catan is like the grandfather of board gaming. I know it's been around for a long time.
Yeah.
But it still holds up. And it's still super easy to pick up.
Yeah, it was very easy to learn.
Two non-board gamers sat down, and we were able to, with relative ease, explain to them how this works.
Yeah.
No, we didn't have to. We consulted the rules to make sure what the score was.
The score, yeah.
Yeah, you go to 10. And that's all we did.
Yeah.
That's all we did. We remembered the rest of it. Because that's how much we've played that game.
Yeah, we've played it a lot. It's also a very basic game.
Well, yeah. But, I mean, a lot of times you gotta have to make sure. And sometimes, like, people who have never played before will have random questions. You're like, you have to go look it up, you know?
I love how no one was looking at development cards, and so, like, I had a few. And I don't remember what I did, but then they're like...
You had, like, 3 of them, and that's how you won. It was, like, 3 victory points. You're like, pat, pat, pat. And we were all like...
Yeah, but there was a certain point where I was just, like... In like, one of the first games we played, that no one was really buying development cards, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna buy, a whole bunch of development cards, and I think I got, like, a lot of the knights, so I had the army.
Yeah.
And they were like, what? Development cards? That's the new meta, and everyone was buying
after
cards.
that, we all started buying them. Like I said, I honestly I want to sit down. Like, I've never looked through what all of the cards are. Like,
the development ones.
Like, I kind of want to know, like, have we encountered all there is to encounter? Because what we've encountered is Monopoly, where someone says a resource and everyone has to give whatever the resources they have of that type to the person. There's the road one that gives you 2 free roads.
Year of Plenty.
That's the one that lets you take, like, 2 resources,
You
right?
get 2 resources.
There is the victory point one. It could be like a chapel or whatever, and it's always like, this card's worth 1 victory point if that victory point would give you the game, kind of thing. And then there's the knight.
Yeah, that's all I've
ever seen. I want to know, is there more?
You can just go look through it.
That's what I need to do. I need to sit down and go look through it. But that's what I'm saying I need to do. I need to sit down and look through it.
But yeah, in this one too, it was the first time that we actually opened our game of Catan.
Yeah, apparently we've owned this box for a good 2-3 years. But
at least 2 years.
We've usually played my brother's.
Yeah.
We've played Phil's Catan whenever we play Catan.
Yeah, whenever we go somewhere, he always takes Catan.
Well, because it's a crowd pleaser.
Well, yeah, that's not a problem.
And the games don't take forever.
I'm just saying, like, we never ever even think of playing our own version of it because he has one. He's gonna bring it if we go somewhere.
Yeah.
So
but
yeah,
now,
it was like the first time I was like, oh yeah, we haven't even opened this.
And so we're all sitting there popping out the pieces and having a great time. It was good. I loved it. But now we got to go. If we go visit your parents, we got to go take Catan with us.
Oh yeah,
so that we can play with them again.
It'll be fun.
Well, we got to take our other one. Was it Game of Thrones Catan?
Yes.
Or Catan Game of Thrones Edition.
Yeah,
or I think it's like the Brotherhood of the Wall or something. It has a funny name. I'm going to call it Game of Thrones Catan.
And that's what we always call it.
Yeah. But like I said, I think it has a different name though. It's like Catan Watchers of the Wall or something. Because the added mechanic is like building people to man the wall.
Yeah, we haven't played it.
I don't know. We haven't played it.
It hasn't been opened.
Yeah, well, I opened it to read the rules one time back when I first bought it. So the wrap is off.
Okay.
I don't think I've popped out all the pieces.
Yeah, I don't think
so. But we got to do that. Now that we know that they love Catan, surely they'll be down to try that one. And it also kind of got me thinking about the other variants. Like I know there's like the Seafarers one and the Merchants one and like the Barbarian one. There's like a bunch of other, like it's like a purple box and a blue box. And I think the red box is the main game. Orange. Yeah. Now I kind of want to go and see those and see what they're all about, you know? Catan. I mean, Catan's a staple. It's a cornerstone of a collection.
Yeah,
deal.
definitely.
So that was honestly the highlight between like last episode and now.
Mm-hmm. And
I rambled on a lot. Have you been up to anything special?
I mean, no. I mean, other than what you've already said. I mean, I was there. My sister was here, so I played games.
Yeah, we play games.
I think we haven't done really much since then.
Not really. I mean, like we went to IKEA. Yeah. You know, we bought a new silverware drawer organizer and
scissors.
Yeah, another pair of scissors because ours all disappeared.
Yeah.
No idea where.
Always disappearing.
No idea where they go, but they're in the house somewhere.
So another set of scissors, a blanket, as if I don't have enough of them already.
You can never have enough.
I think that's all we bought there.
Yeah. That's really been all we've been up to since last time and now.
Yeah.
Which is okay. I mean.
All right. Enough about what we've been up to. Let's get into the games we played this week. So Nick, what game did you play this week?
Yeah, so the game that I played this week is called Flamberge? Flamberge? I don't know. It's a sword. I think we looked at the definition of it, and it's like a sword with an undulating blade, right? Is that the word?
Yeah.
And that just means it has like funny...
It's like very wavy.
Yeah, it's wavy. It basically is like like imagine you know how there's like serrated knives, right? That like it's got the little like ripples in it.
Yeah, but it's not serrated.
But it's kind of like a serrated greatsword. It's kind of like what it is.
It just looks like a wavy sword.
Which I don't know. I know there's got to be a purpose to it because apparently the Flamberge, or however you pronounce it, is popular. Like I had heard the name because it's a weapon in Dark Souls.
Yeah.
That I didn't particularly like it. It's one of like I think it's one of the ultra great swords. It's like really heavy and slow.
Yeah.
And you know me, I hate being super slow in those games because I mean, it takes me like 2 seconds to swing this sword. That's 2 seconds I'm gonna get squashed by some big monster, you know?
Yeah.
You can't do 1,000 well-timed butt pokes with like a 2-second swing, you know?
Yeah.
So, I've heard of the weapon, but... So, Flamberge is the game that I got this week. This is it's honestly not what I expected. I remember reading something about it back when it came out. It's a bit older. 2015, I think, is when it came into early access. And I was under the impression that it was more Dark Souls. I don't know where I read this, but it's not. This is a pixel art, which I love.
Really pretty.
Really pretty pixel art. Tactics RPG game.
Yeah.
It's tactical RPG, which I love tactics games. I think they're so great, especially like tactics RPGs where like my party is on the field and there's a bunch of enemies and monsters and stuff, and I get to like move my people around, like pick grids and squares and all that and move it about and like try to plan and be like, it said 99%, why did you miss? You know,
yeah, that's very XCOM-y. Very
XCOM-y, yes. But yeah, so this is a pixel art tactics RPG by Heidezik. I hope I said their name right. Its tags on Steam are RPG, strategy, early access, adventure, and indie. And another tag I think it should also have is amazing soundtrack, right? That was one that Bastion had last week.
Yeah, I think it had great soundtrack.
Great soundtrack. This game needs that. Right off the bat, as soon as the menu music kicks in, I was like, I can stop. I can stop right here and I'm happy. I don't have to do anything else with this game and I am satisfied. Like,
yeah.
Holy cow, the music they got for this game is phenomenal. The soundtrack is just wonderful. Like, it does this wonderful combination of amazing, like, orchestral musical score mixed with, like, retro, like, pixel video game sounds.
Yeah.
Like, whenever you complete a level, it does this whole, like, like this, like, whole, like, victory sound, but it's totally, like, this 8-bit sort of sound where you're like, what? That sounds a bit off from the music.
Yeah.
But it fits, and I'm like, that's alright. And it has, like, little fireworks that go off on the screen, and it's like, yeah, you did it! Like, pixel confetti goes off, you know?
Yeah.
You won! So, the story of this, for this game is that basically it's some sort of distant past, or it doesn't really say it's an alternate world, it just talks about how the world is consumed by war, you know, and all that. So, at one point, there was this kingdom that, like, the only kingdom in the whole planet that wasn't at war, and they were, like, scholars and philosophers and smart people and stuff, you know? Smart people. They could do really long math and stuff, you know?
Yeah.
And I guess one day, the rest of the world was like, we don't like that you have peace, so we're gonna come burn your house down.
Oh.
And so they were, like, trying to attack this kingdom, and, like, right before they were able to break into the gates, the kingdom, like, up and floated away. Like, they scienced themselves out of there, like, deuces, y'all.
Nope.
Yeah, it's like, haha, you know, flying castle. I mean, but it wasn't a flying castle, it was a whole kingdom. An entire land sort of deal. At least that's the intro. That's the whole, you know, this is the game starting, we're going to give you just ever so brief plot synopsis kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then it jumped, and then that's it, you know, and it's kind of like, all right, now we're following this character, and it's following a character named Logan, that he's part of, like, a militia, right?
Uh-huh.
And him and a bunch of soldiers encounter, like, these shadowy people, and it's like, you know, halt, who goes there, you know, you're trespassing, whatever, and all the dialogue is just like, because you don't know what the other people are saying, like, they're speaking a foreign language.
Yeah.
It'd be like me trying to talk to somebody, and they speak Russian. I don't know what they're saying.
Yeah.
There's a good chance they don't know what I'm saying. And so we're just both saying things to each other and it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And so basically, like, Logan's group is trying to, like, tell them to turn back, that they're not welcome or whatever, because, you know, they're trespassing on Lord Waldala's land or something.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, like missile launcher cannons go off, and, like, his whole platoon is, like, decimated, and he escapes into the forest, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the game starts. And so, it's got a lot of, I don't know, I'm gonna say anime vibes, for lack of a better way to put it.
What do you mean by that?
Like, there's an anime I watched called Castle in the Sky, where it's kind of like, the setting is sort of, it's in this kind of Victorian, kind of like they have some technology, but it's mostly kind of medieval, you know? Lots of, like, swords and bows and arrows and stuff like that, but there's that ancient civilization that was, like, really high-tech kind of thing, you know?
Okay.
Or, like, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, you know? Where it's like the ancient civilization of the Sheikah, which had, like, robots and laser cannons and mechs and stuff.
Yeah.
But somehow they disappeared. And now we just use bows and arrows, you know?
Because they turned on everyone. Because of the...
Well, but even in Breath of the Wild, like, they dug up the robots of the ancient civilization. And they were turning them back on to use against Ganon. And then Ganon turned the robots on them.
Okay.
So my question is, like, what happened to them the first time?
Yeah.
You know? It's like, super advanced group. Like, Rome has, like, a Roman Empire style collapse kind of thing. I don't know. Not the point. That's the vibes I'm getting from this. Like I said, I haven't gotten all the way through it yet. From what I understand, the game isn't finished yet. It is still in early access, so I think you have, like, I can play 3 of the 6 chapters, and I've played, like, 1.5 of the 3 you can play.
Okay. You did say this came out in 2015, right?
Yeah, so this game is a Kickstarter project that was successfully funded and all that, and so I think some people would call this, like, a Kickstarter horror story. I don't, though, because, like, I actually went and did a little research, like, looking into what's going on with this, and it's being developed by one person.
Okay.
So, and to boot, the person's a college student.
Yeah.
Or at least they were. I think they might have graduated, like, just, like,
Since
recently.
then. Yeah.
Like, very recently, I think. And so, I think it's amazing. Like, I went and looked them up, and, like, their Twitter account still says, yes, I am still working on Flamberge, you know? And, like, I was like, awesome, cool, you know?
Yeah.
So, the gameplay is phenomenal. Like, it is a turn-based tactics game, but one of the things that makes it different is that everybody's turn plays out simultaneously. So, like, I go and tell, like, I have, like, if you start off with 2 people. Mm-hmm. Well, you have one person, and you, like, almost immediately, at the end of the tutorial, find a second person.
Okay.
Right? So you start off with 2 people. And you tell them, like, I'll tell my spearmen, like, you go ahead and run right, and then lunge forward, you know, at this person. And I'll tell my archer, you scooch over here, and, like, peek out from behind a rock, and shoot your bow.
Okay.
You know, in this area. And then I hit go, and they both start moving, and the enemy also starts moving. So I have to, like, kind of, did I guess where the enemy's gonna go correctly, so that my attacks actually hit people?
Yeah.
So, I think that's kind of neat. It reminds me of some game Jacob bought me a long time ago, that I don't remember what it's called now.
Nice.
I just remember that everything is blue. And I'll have to ask Jacob about what, like, everything's blue, like, the map is all blue, and your characters are like little yellow men that walk around. I remember it being a tactics game where everyone's turn plays out at the same time.
Okay.
It reminds me of that, but I cannot think of the name. Jacob will know.
We'll link it.
Or we'll get Jacob to talk about it next time he comes on. We'll see, whichever one I remember to do.
Whenever that happens.
But it reminds me of that. And so I thought that was really neat. Like, you don't see a lot of tactics games where everything plays out simultaneously.
Yeah.
You know? And I also thought it was really cool. Like, the game has a couple of different settings for how you aim your attacks. And it has pros and cons based on what you do. Mm-hmm. Like, you have the 100% manual aiming where I say, you shoot your shot down this line.
Yeah. And
they'll fire the shot. And if it hits, that's the most damage you can do.
Yeah.
And then it's got, the next mode is aim in this general section. And it has, like, your aiming line, but also a little circle at the end of it.
Okay.
And so they'll look for someone in that little circle and try to hit them.
Yeah.
Which does 1 point less damage than the manual aim.
Mm-hmm.
And then the final setting is here's a big A circle around your character. And if someone moves in that circle, punch them.
Yeah.
You know? It's basically like putting them on Overwatch.
Yeah.
And then you do that, and they'll go after somebody. And so it's got this whole: do you want to take a risk for more reward?
Yeah.
Or do you want to just play it safe, but you'll drag the battle out a bit longer because you won't deal as much damage?
Right, because you're just going to be doing the lowest amount of damage.
Exactly. And so I thought it was pretty cool. And like the fights, the levels, it seemed less like XCOM where like you don't really know what's coming, and more like a tactical puzzle. You know? Because like when you start off in an area, you can see the whole map. You see where the bad guys are and what they're doing. And the game kind of scores you based on how quickly you can get through the map.
Okay.
Or it's like how fast can you complete it, but also like can you get through undetected? If someone does detect you, can you kill them like quickly once they detect you? How long do they know about you? Like how long does the fight draw out?
Yeah.
So like the game encourages you to be like stealthy and fast. So like if you do break cover, you're like breaking cover to straight up attack and just murder them. Like that way they have no time to sound the alarm kind of deal. And I thought it was really cool. Like it had you get like a score rating at the end of every match based on, like I said, how quickly you complete the level, how fast you kill enemies that have detected you, and how much damage has your team taken. And so I thought that was kind of neat. Like, I mean, I don't think the score has any impact on anything other than like, look at me, I got all 100s. Yeah, you know, it just feels cool. And so I thought it was neat. And then like every character has, like, depending upon what kind of weapon they've got, they have a couple of different moves. Like all of them have like a basic attack and then a defensive ability.
Okay.
So like the archer has, shooting the bow, obviously, but then she also has a dodge because the bow has a 1-turn cooldown after she shoots a shot. Like she has to notch a new arrow, kind of thing. So it takes her a little bit of time. The spearman, he has his lunge attack where he or it's like a spearman's charge kind of thing. Like he goes like running forward with his spear out, like I'm gonna ram him, sort of deal. But then he also has an ability called disarm, where if someone tries to hit him, he stops and basically knocks their weapon out, kind of thing.
Okay.
So then for they deal no damage, and then for a turn, they can't attack
because they don't have their weapon.
Yeah, so they'll try to be all evasive for one turn.
Okay. And
then the swordsman, who's the only other class I've encountered so far, he has a very short range attack. It's a swordsman,
Yeah.
And he also has a parry ability, similar to the disarm, but instead of basically like stunning the enemy for a turn, he deals 2 points of damage to them. So like if they try to hit him, he basically like blocks their attack and hurts them back.
Okay.
So it was pretty cool. Like I said, I really like it. I love the art style. I so far like the story. It seems like a by the numbers kind of story. It's the, oh no, there are invaders from another land. What do we do? And then in true anime fashion, it's like, how is it that this random group of teenagers are defeating trained soldiers? Like, what's happening here? And then the old lady who's a lord is all like, you kids seem to have things down. Take this letter to the capital and rally the king, rally the lords.
Yeah.
That way we can fight off this threat from an external force, Kind of Game of Thronesy, where it's like, gather the families so we can stop the Night Walkers and all that, It's like something like that. Is what it feels like. I've like I said, so far the last thing I did was I was given a letter, and we have to deliver the letter to the capital, which is, of course, the entire way there is infested with this invading force.
Yeah,
I don't
obviously.
know. So it's really cool. I really like it. Like I'm really excited to talk about it. Like this game seems really cool. It definitely it deserves attention. Like this style of gameplay, I feel like hasn't gotten enough attention.
Yeah.
And I really like it. And I could see why it was a successfully funded Kickstarter.
Mm-hmm.
So really, really excited for it. I really liked it a lot. Honestly. You watched me play a little bit. Did you have any other thoughts?
Yeah, I watched you as I was trying to learn a new crochet pattern, so I didn't watch that much of it. It did sound really pretty. It looked very pretty at the beginning, like all the intro stuff.
Oh yeah,
was really great.
Say the pixel art style it's fantastically done. So.
Yeah, and it's not. I mean, I feel like the color palette's very soothing. Also,
it's a lot of earthy colors.
Yeah,
right. So I really like. I honestly like. I don't have a single negative thing to say about this game. Like I love it. And like I said, I can't wait to see the finished product. I got to play through the rest of the chapters. Like I said, the next chapter and a half that I can play.
Yeah.
I gotta play through it and see at least where the story's going.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's gonna be like one of those things where
You're gonna have to wait for years.
Like, no, I was like, I've watched seasons 1 through 3, and now I need to know how the story goes. Please tell me.
Yeah.
But then like it's gonna be one of those like I get to the end and I'm just gonna be like, it's over. Like, you know, like when you watch a show for like 7 seasons, you get to the end and you're like sad. You have that like that feeling of loss. You're like, this is gone now. I've experienced it.
Yeah, you can never redo it for the first time.
Exactly. Exactly. So, Flamberge is really great. Like I said, Heideziek, I think is the name. I really hope I said your name correctly. They are doing a fantastic job. I really, really, really enjoy it. But so that was my game. What'd you play?
So this week I played Slime Rancher. This is one that's been out there for a while. 2017 was its release date.
Not the oldest we've played, but
yeah, no, not the oldest one. This is by Manami Park, right?
Yeah, Manomi, something like that.
Yeah, developed and published, and then its tags on Steam are cute, exploration, adventure, and single player. You had played this game a lot previously.
A ton, yes. I love this game.
But I had never played it, and I was just like, you know what? Let me play that game. You were just looking through your Xbox Game Pass stuff, and I was like, yeah, let's just let me play that game real quick, because it's super cute, and I remember you enjoying it a lot.
Yes. It's like the perfect combination of beautiful art style, adorable creatures, and profit.
Oh, yeah, that was... Any game Nick plays, it's all about, how do I make the most profit?
What? If the game gives you a mechanic where, like, you gotta make money to buy upgrades,
yeah,
then you want to maximize your income, make money. You know?
Yeah, but yeah, so the whole basis of the game is that you have earned a ranch. I guess, like, there's this company that's sponsoring you.
I think it's like you signed up. Like, you're almost like a... What are those people called that, like, back in the Wild West days, you know, like, they'd, like, go move west to go, like, settle the Wild West and all that? A settler? It's just settlers?
Yeah.
Like, but it's basically, like, I think you've been, like, given a grant by this...
Yeah, by this company.
Like, they want people to go and ranch on this planet, because they want resources.
Right.
But, I mean, I guess you're moving, like, 10,000 light years away from everything.
Yeah.
Is what it seems like.
Yeah, so you've moved to this ranch, and you find out all the little story bits by letters that people send you, and then there's also the previous owner of the ranch has left, like, little kind of audio logs. They're not audio, but they're, like, little...
Basically, like, little notes.
Yeah, little notes around the ranch and area so that you can read them and learn more about where you're at and more about him.
Yeah.
But yeah, and the whole purpose of it is on the resource that people want is called plorts. And basically what a plort is it's a slime poop.
Yes. Yeah. That's in case you couldn't catch on, the key thing about the planet's called the Far Far Range.
Yes.
Is the name of the planet.
Yeah.
I was like, what a creative name. Yeah, the key resource there are these creatures called slimes.
Yeah. And it's the classic slime you would see in any video game. It's just a big gelatinous little creature with a cute little face that bounces around, and they're all multicolored, and they
even make little splat noises when they hit walls and stuff like that. It's
yeah,
great.
They're super cute. That's what really made me want to play this game a lot, is just the cuteness of it, and it always seemed very relaxing when you played it.
It is a very chill game.
Yeah.
Like, it's very much like, it has game modes where you can do, like, a rush mode, right, where I still haven't gotten all the achievements, because there's still a couple of ones where, like, it's earned X amount of money in rush mode, where, like, I think you have a timer that's counting down in the game mode, and you increase your timer by completing the little range exchange missions, because like, that's the thing we hadn't talked about yet, was there's a way that you can communicate with other ranchers where they ask you for stuff.
Yes.
Like, hey, send me 5 pink slimes, a cat slime, and a rock slime. You know, and then they give you stuff, like they'll give you some money or some vegetables maybe that you haven't found yet, or just whatever, maybe random chickens.
I like the range exchange because it gives me purpose. Like, I felt like at the beginning of the game, it's like, go have fun, and there's not really any purpose.
Well, I mean, there is. It's an exploration game.
Yeah.
So like I said, you have to have that profit expansion mindset because when you start off in one section of your possible ranch. There's 3 different expansion areas you can open up, but all of those cost quite a bit of money.
Yeah.
So the game encourages you to go out and explore and like search nooks and crannies and all that to find random stuff. Like, what was it? I think the last thing, one of the last things you had done when I was watching you play was you found one of the Gordo slimes, the big fat guys.
Yes, and you have to feed them until they explode.
Yes, and but it's really weird because like when he explodes, he's a bunch of little slimes. Like so, it's almost like a bunch of slimes just squished together to make a Gordo. You know?
Yeah.
Because like it sounds really bad when you're like, oh yeah, I fed him till he popped like a cartoon, but he pops and he breaks into a bunch of small ones. So I feel like you didn't kill him. You, like, devolved him. Like, if you turned, like, Charizard back into Charmeleon, you know?
Well, I mean, you do see the little ones stacking up and stuff.
You do.
So maybe that's what they're trying to do.
I'm not gonna lie, like, the behavior programmed into the slimes is phenomenal. Like, how they're all just so cute, and when you put different ones close to each other, they act differently. Like, the cat ones want to stack and all that, and they'll all stack on top of each other, and they're like, yeah, we're having fun.
It's like a little totem pole of
Or
slimes.
or they do it to escape your pins, where they stack up and like the top one hops out, and you're like, you little turd, you get back in there.
That's adorable.
Yeah, it's great. But yeah, and so like you popped that big Gordo slime, and it gave you a key, which opens up a whole new section of the map, and there's a bunch of those like hidden Gordos and hidden keys you can find to open up new areas that you can get to.
Okay, yeah. I mean, after I opened the key, it was getting late, and so we stopped. But I had gotten to the point, like we said, there's tons of slimes, and basically what you're doing is you're finding food, corralling in a certain amount of slimes, however many you want, because you can't get all of them. They're always spawning.
Yeah, you can never catch them all. There will always be more slimes out in the range.
Yeah, so you corral some of them, you have them in a pen, you can upgrade your pen so they can't escape, so that it's UV protected, because there's some slimes that only come out at night, and they die in the sun, and I did a horrible experiment with that one. It was one that was out during the day, and he was in the shade, and Nick was like, well, maybe he'll be fine.
Because he was a combo.
Yeah, he was a combo of pink, which is the basic one, and the nighttime one, phosphorus or something like that. Yeah. And I was like, no, look, if you put him in the sun, he'll die. And then he did.
He died. He popped like a little water balloon. Poor guy.
I was just testing.
No, I know. That should be like an achievement where it's like, you monster. Oh, wait, I think there is an achievement for that. But there is an achievement called You Monster, but I think
it's feeding chickens to slimes.
I think you put a baby chick in the incinerator.
Yeah.
And so it calls you Monster.
Yeah.
Which you are.
Understandable. Yeah. So, but there's so many different things. So I've gotten to the point where I had pink phosphorus slimes and blue, rock
and
cat
tabby.
slimes.
Yeah, the cat ones.
Yeah. And the thing that you want to make sure you do is that you feed them their favorite food.
Yeah, because if you do that, they produce double.
Yes, they produce double plorts. But also, you can't just farm one type of plort, because the rate in the exchange will go down the more plorts you put into it.
It's a semi live economy.
Yeah.
Where basically the game just knows like, well, she's fed like 150 pink plorts into this thing. We're gonna drop it to like minimum price, which I think is like 6 gold.
Yeah.
So, and that'll happen. And like, but what's crazy is I remember like later on, I stopped farming pink.
Yeah.
Because pink wasn't making me any money.
Yeah.
And since I stopped selling pink, its price went up.
Uh-huh.
Like it was like $30 a pink.
See, I think that's kind of a method too, right? So like my pens have auto collectors. So whenever and they also have auto feeders. So whenever the slimes get fed and they produce plorts, they get automatically sucked up. But the storage capacity in those is very large.
Yes.
So you could just wait.
I mean, it does have a max, so the maximum plorts that those things can hold.
Yeah.
But the game also has the you can make silos.
Okay.
You can make basically storage bins.
Yeah.
Like, I remember before I only ever used them for food, because, like, eventually, like, when you get the upgrades to your garden spots...
You make too much food.
You have so much food, and it's more food than the auto feeders can handle, and it's like, well, I don't want this to go to waste, because if the food sits on the ground long enough, it'll rot, yeah. And so I would just store tons and tons of food. I'd make sure I had all the favorites, like, stored away.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking about it. You could store plorts.
Yeah.
Because the silo capacity, the silo capacity is huge.
Yeah.
And then you just go nuts. Like, keep your silo over there close to the market.
Yeah.
And just keep it full of plorts. And just because I think you can do a lot of upgrades for the silos where it starts off where like it has like one bay.
Yeah.
And I think the one bay can hold one thing. You know? But you can upgrade it and have like 4 bays, right? So one for each side of it, 'cause it's like a square.
Yeah.
And then you can also, I think, upgrade it so that you can rotate, like, so it can hold more than one thing per bay. So you can have a bunch of stuff stored in one silo.
Yeah.
If you fully upgrade it. Granted, that costs
money. Yeah.
Gotta make money.
Yeah. I mean, that's what the whole game is about. It's about making money
and exploring
to expand your farm, and then exploring more to find more slime
and to uncover more of the story.
Yeah.
Because like the story, like you said, it's all you finding notes from the previous owner. Was it Hodson Quiggler? Right?
I don't remember. Yeah.
He had a funny name like that. I know Hodson's the first name.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Hodson, the previous farmer, his whole story, which I thought was phenomenal, because he talks about, you know, when he first came out to the range and his life there, and about how he met someone and he fell in love and all that, you know, and about how, you know, life is about taking risks and, you know, making choices and stuff. But then you also get all the, like you said, the letters. You get letters from home, and you get letters from the other ranchers and stuff like that. Yeah. So all of the story is written, you know.
Yeah, it's all optional.
Yeah, it's all optional. I mean, it's
because you could just skip all the little notes and stuff.
Yeah.
You don't have to read your email.
Well, no, I mean, and honestly, all of the story was added towards the end of the game's production. Like, this was, I don't know if you remember, this was an early access game.
Yeah.
That we watched Sips play.
Yeah.
I don't know how many times we're going to say that, but this was an early access game we watched Sips play, and we picked it up because it's adorable.
Yeah.
Because holy cannoli, and it's so much fun. Like, and like you said, it is very relaxing. Like when you just decide you want to go, just work on the ranch and go exploring and stuff like that. Especially once you get the jetpack upgrade.
Yeah.
Which I think you're just about there. Because you need it to go to like the next, after the first stage, you need it to get to around the other areas.
Mm-hmm.
So once you get the jetpack, then you can start going to all the little random places where the game's kind of like, we didn't think you'd get over here, but here's a reward, you know? And so like I remember I found like a random island at one point. Like, it's like, I had to get had to have so many jetpack upgrades so I had enough fuel to fly out to it. But like it was way out there, and I got there, and there's like a big shrine to slimes.
No.
And when you open the box that's out there, it gives you a decoration for Gordo slimes. It's a mustache.
Okay.
So you can put a mustache on a Gordo slime. It's great.
So also on the farm, there's a bunch of just like crates with stuff in them, and all of mine keep giving me the same stupid little ornament thing.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with that. That is new. Because Monomi Park they've continued to work on this game and support it and add new content, like stuff that I've seen online that wasn't there when I played.
Yeah.
Like, they added all these ornaments and decorations, and there's like ways that you can like make the slimes look cute and stuff now, like you can give them hats and stuff.
Aww.
They've also added, I think it might be paid DLC, which makes sense, but there's like an alternate skin pack for all the slimes.
Oh, okay.
So they can all look different.
Interesting. Yeah.
There's that. But they've added a bunch of other stuff like drones. You can do automation now.
And you already have auto feeders and auto.
No, but I mean, like, you could have a drone go, and I think it pulls the plorts out and go. You could have it go pull plorts and go put plorts in the silo and stuff like that.
Well, you don't want that if you're trying to game the economy, though.
Well, I mean, have it put it in the silo.
Oh, in the silo.
But like I said, I don't know anything about the drones.
I mean, what would be helpful is if they would pick up the food and put it in the auto feeder, because
I think you can.
I have to manually.
Like I said, I think you could do that. Like I don't know anything about the drones because, like I said, they weren't in the game when I played it.
Yeah,
they are new post 1.0 release content.
Okay.
Because like the last time I played, I don't even think all of because you can also, they have stuff where as you progress through the game, you can go and visit these other ranchers.
Okay.
You can go to their ranches, and their ranches all have different stuff on them. Like, there's different locations you can go to outside the base game island.
Yeah.
And so, there was a couple of those I could go to. Like, I went to, like, the science guy's place, and then there's, like a rich lady, there's, like, some rich lady. I went to her ranch, too. And then I remember there was a place I went that had like saber-toothed slimes and stuff.
Oh.
But I think even that wasn't all of the content. Like they've added a lot more since I last played, and seeing you play it now, I'm kind of like, we should. I was like, I should make Erica play this. I want to see more of it. I want to see more of it done.
Well, I also like. I feel like, yeah, the story is an end objective, right? To see all the story, but I feel like my objective would be to just find all the different types of slime.
Well, yeah, complete the logbook.
Yeah,
because there's a Slimepedia, right? Is what the game calls it.
Yeah,
that it has a little. It tells you how many slimes there are and how many like types of vegetables there are and how many other like items you can find. I guess there are. You know? And so it's got like a whole thing, and so I guess it would be like complete your Pokedex.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
That would be that. I think that's a good mission because by the time you've completed that, you've seen just about everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so I think that's actually a really good goal.
Yeah.
To try to catch all the slimes and all that. Because like to do that, you will have to expand your farm, you know?
Yeah.
Because like you've got different expansions you could go into. There's like so there's like a safari zone for if you want like free range slimes. Like you can still set pins up and all that, but like when I had it, I had like my chickens over there, you know? Because like you want to raise chickens because certain slimes only eat meat.
Yeah.
And you gotta have chickens. If the chickens are out are close to the other slimes, they're gonna eat them.
Yeah.
So
well, one thing too is you want to keep your slimes separate because if a crossbred slime eats a different plort, then they turn into a tar.
Yes, which is an evil slime.
Which is an evil slime, which goes and kills all your other slimes.
Yeah, it'll completely kill all of your livestock.
So that's why it's important to keep them separated and in pens.
Yes.
Because you could just like, I'm going to take a few and just throw them in the ranch area.
Yeah.
But then...
Well, yeah, which like I said, which you could. Like I said, I could conceivably see there being like over in the little safari zone area, like a style where maybe you have like a particular like type of slime that you like a lot, you know, like that you want it to just run around.
Yeah.
And you want a bunch of them, like how I love honey slimes.
I felt like you did that at one point. In one of the areas, there was a tree. In one of the farm areas, there was like a tree that grew fruit. And so you just threw a whole bunch of the ones that loved that fruit in there. And you would just go check on them every so often.
I think that's right.
Yeah.
That sounds right. But yeah, like I said, and so there, like it gives you a lot of options as far as like kind of tweaking it and messing around, seeing what you like, kind of what kind of style you want to go with. There is a whole like late game like science thing, like because like if you open like the back part of the ranch, there's like a barn back there, and the barn has a bunch of like science machines where you can create tools and stuff for the farm.
Yeah,
like you can make like a water cannon that'll destroy tars.
Yes, I remember.
I think that's where you make the drones now.
Okay.
You can also make snares for Gordo slimes. So you like put a little thing down and you like bait it. You like put food on it, and you leave it there for a couple of days. And when you come back, it'll be a Gordo slime.
Interesting.
Like if you want to just conjure them, you know.
Why would you want to do that?
I don't know. That was something I never.
Like maybe you'll get like an interesting Gordo slime because the one I saw was just like a regular pink guy.
Well, yeah, I think,
I know that there's a tabby one.
I think depending upon the type of food you put down, I think you can get a Gordo of any type. I do not know this for a fact. I have not consulted the slime wiki.
Yeah.
As much as I have on other games, because like this one, like it was one of those like this was a pure video game experience for me. Like I just played it.
Yeah, you hadn't really seen anything other than we had seen Sips play.
And Sips played it when it was in really early access.
Yeah.
And so, like, I got it around the time it had its 1.0 release. And, yeah. Like I said, I really, like, this is one of my all-time favorite games. Many of you remember back to our first episode. Like, I loved that game.
Was it on your list?
It was on my list,
Oh,
yeah.
I don't remember that being on
Yeah.
list.
Like I said, I love that game. I think that it's a masterpiece. Like, it's been, 5 years since it came out? 4 years? And so...
Yeah, 4.
And it has aged incredibly well. You know, it still looks fantastic, sounds fantastic. It's great.
Yeah, it's
for
really
what
good
it
game.
is.
I like it.
Yeah, I'm a really big fan.
Yeah, so we're gonna continue playing that in our own time.
Yeah, I'm gonna get you. You'll play that. I'll keep playing Haven, and we'll eventually make our way through them.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be great.
All right, so let's move on to the tabletop game we played this week.
Yeah.
I keep wanting to say board game, but I'm switching to tabletop.
Tabletop. We'll make it. We'll make
games.
it a thing for us.
So, Nick, what game did we play this week?
So this one we've had for a while. I think this was one of the first ones we added to our board game collection.
Yeah.
It's called Planet. This was designed by Urtis Solnskas. Hopefully I said that right. I really like this game. The art is by Sabrina Muraman, published by Blue Orange.
Yeah.
So we saw this at PAX, I think.
Yeah, we did. I think...
Or no, we saw it on a video. Remember, someone released a video that was like, "Hey, I went to Gen Con, and here are like 20 games. He's like, I went to a booth and told every game dev to pitch me their game in a minute or something like that.
Yeah.
And he's like, and here are their pitches.
Yeah.
And so we listened. It was a 20-something minute video.
Yeah.
And so we listened to every minute that someone talked about one, and we thought this game looked really awesome.
Yeah.
And like I said, we had never heard of it before. It was just when we were first getting into board games. Like I think it was right after we went to our first PAX.
Yeah, probably.
And we were like, oh man, board games are great. I love them, you know? And so we got this one. So Planet is in case you couldn't guess, it's a game about building a planet. So it's 2 to 4 players. Everyone has these like D12s. Like it's like a 12-sided
yes, I believe
trapezoid,
it's
you know?
Yeah.
Looks like a 12-sided dice. But everyone has these 12-sided shapes, and there are magnets that have little... They're all split up into triangles that have little land masses.
Mm-hmm.
Split up into little triangles that have little land masses on them. And so everybody is trying to build the best planet, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
The way that it works is all of the little magnet tiles are shuffled and put into stacks of 5, face down, and you set them up in a row with all of the tiles. Mm-hmm. Then you draw cards for animals. And you get points by drawing animals to your planet.
Yeah.
And the way that you make this happen is by having the environments that are right for them.
Yeah.
So, like, the one that comes to mind right now, I think, was like a gazelle. And so it was like if you had the savanna, where it was like the yellow grassy kind of area. If you had the savanna area, whoever has the most triangles of that would get that card after that stack has been played.
Yeah.
And so then sometimes they would be more complicated, where it'd be like, okay, well, if you want killer whales, you got to have the most ocean, the biggest ocean section that is touching ice.
Yeah.
Or you have to have the biggest green grassy area that's not touching savanna.
Yeah.
You know? And so it would have weird combinations like that. And so that's how you get your points. So everybody we would take the stack of tiles, flip them. And then when those are all face up, whoever's turn it is, they draw first, and they pick one. And it magnets onto their little 12-sided shape. Yeah. Which, I remember the first couple of times we played this, I had a really hard time doing the whole envisioning what I'm working on, because I'm having to think in 3 dimensions, where most board games I'm looking at it, and it's a flat 2D thingy, you know?
Yeah, and I feel like even when we play now, I think of it, like, I don't put one tile on one side and then flip it and put one on the other side. No. I always build out from where I started.
I feel like doing that was a mistake. Like you like the whole opposite sides of the thing. Well, the way you do it, I think, is the right way to go. You would obviously want to start on a spot and then build off of him. Yeah. Because otherwise, when you have to meet in the middle, your connections are going to be janky. Yeah. You know. And so, like, all the connections that you make, you want to make sure that you're looking at, because you can see what all animal cards that are coming down the line. Yeah. And so you want to make sure that you're preparing for those. So, like, if I see, like, polar bears, and the polar bears is, like, whoever has the most snow, then I'll be like, hell yeah, I want polar bears on my planet. Scoops up all the snow. Right. So, another factor I didn't think about. So, getting animal cards is the base way you make points. Yeah. Another way is, at the start of the game, everybody draws a secret objective card. And the secret objectives are basically get as much of a specific land type as possible. Yeah. So there's like 5 land types.
There's 5, yeah.
Yeah, there is grass, savanna, dirt, snow, and water. Yeah. I don't know what the dirt would be.
I mean, I thought it was like forest, desert, Arctic,
taiga.
I don't know what the dirt one is.
Yeah, like I said, the dirt one, maybe it's like hilly areas. Like,
and
I
then
don't know.
ocean.
Yeah. But, so there's 5 of those. Everybody draws one. And basically, each of them, depending upon, like, how many of that land type are in I'm going to call it the deck of tiles, determines how many of them you have to get to make points.
Right.
And so they have different thresholds. Like, to get, like, a couple of points for, like, you might have to have, like, okay, I have to have, like, 5 desert, and that'll get me, like, 2 points. Mm-hmm. But then it goes up to, like, 10 desert gets me, like, 10 points.
Yeah.
And 15 desert gets me this much. And so, like, it gets bigger and bigger. So, like, you want to get as much of that as you can, but the downside is, naturally that means you're going to wind up drawing in those desert-based animals.
Right.
So if any animals that are the color of your secret objective are only worth 1 point.
Yes.
If you manage to draw in animals that aren't the color of your secret objective, those are worth 2 points. Yes. So you have this kind of pro and con, like, do you take the heavy dive and just focus on maxing out your landmass card? Because if you can max out the bonus, it's a lot of points.
Yeah.
It has, like, 5 tiers.
It is, but you also, like you said, you have to balance it with bringing in animals that aren't your specific type.
Yeah. And so it's a cool balancing act, and it's the kind of thing, like, I mean, like I said, everyone's holding this funny 12-sided shape and just placing their little guys on there. It's really fast to play.
Yes.
The thing says 30 to 45 minutes is the estimated runtime.
Yeah, I don't think it's...
I would say once everybody knows how to play, like, 30 to 45 if someone is new to the game.
Yeah.
Once everyone knows, this game is fast.
Yeah, it's just flip tiles, pick one, go around, and then that's it. Next, flip tiles, pick one, and you don't start picking up animals until the 3rd round.
Yeah.
And then even then, it's like, okay, who has the largest ocean? I've got 5. Someone else has 2, and it's just like, okay, count it up. Okay, then the card goes to...
Yeah, and you move on. Like, I mean, you don't have to linger on it for too long. The whole thing is designed to go fast, and I love that about this game.
Yeah.
I'm surprised this one hasn't had more table time for us.
Yeah.
But I think, like I said, it's because it did get a bunch when we first got it.
Yeah, we played it quite a
lot.
Bit. Yeah.
And then I think, he got put on the shelf or put in the closet, and a lot of other games came in, and, like, I mean...
Well, like, a lot of the games we have don't get a lot of table time. We just don't have the opportunity to play games all that often.
That's true, because I think a lot of the games we have are meant for more than 2 people.
Yeah, and we play them with just us, but it feels like we need the additional people to actually experience the game sometimes.
Yeah.
And so it's easy to gravitate towards, like, Air, Land, and Sea and Shot and Taunton and stuff like
and
that.
Seven Wonders Duel and all the little 2-player ones.
Right,
yeah.
instead of picking up, like, Caverna and playing it or something. So for us, it's more of it feels like we shouldn't be playing the bigger games if we don't have the larger amount of people.
Yeah. I think that's one of the things, like, I know we've talked about it before, about setting up some time with Jacob and Phil, about trying to play on, like, tabletop sim and stuff like that. Because, like, I know that we're all scattered around and all that, and we've all got busy schedules, so it's hard for us to get together in person.
Yeah.
But one night a week, one night every other week.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we should try that again. I know we had tried before and it didn't quite work, but there was extenuating circumstances. Kids were sick.
Yeah, we did 1 week, and it's like, okay, we're gonna do it this week.
And that was like the day like one of their kids got food poisoning.
Yeah, and it was like, just
damn.
like, oh, okay, well we'll do it with just the 3 of us then.
And it worked fine. It was great.
But then we never set up another one. Like, it worked good, I agree. Like, it was fun. We played Wingspan, I think, and that was the first time we really played through Wingspan with Jake.
Yeah, because before it was just been you and me, which was fun.
When the power went out, yeah.
That was great. Us playing Wingspan with lanterns on the table, and that was our first time playing Wingspan, too. It was awesome.
Yeah.
It was a fun experience.
But yeah, so it was like, oh, okay, well, it worked, and then we never really did it again. We played Gravwell once.
Yeah.
But other than that, we've never really done,
and I think it's partly our fault. I think it's partly the group's fault. I think none of us, like, we are all busy. I'm going to say that in quotes. We're all busy people. We all have stuff that we want to do and stuff to do.
Yeah.
We gotta, since we would make up a majority share, there's, 2 of them.
Just force it.
Well, no, I don't think force it's not the right way. I think we need to push it. Be like, hey, y'all, let's do it this day. Like,
Well, that's what I'm not saying, like, force it. Like,
No.
everyone has to come here and, like, say, like, okay,
Well,
this day we're doing game
because
night.
you know how our group is with things. It's always going to be like, hey, do y'all want to do this? Yeah, that sounds great. Just tell me when. And everyone says that. No one wants to pick a day.
It's either that or, like, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. We should really do that. And no one takes the initiative to actually do it.
So we need to take the initiative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do it. We're gonna do it.
Oh,
We'll let y'all know how that goes in our next episode.
Yes. But yeah, so that's it for our podcast this week. We talked about Flamberge, Slime Rancher, and
Yeah. All of them just so beautiful games. Seriously, fantastic experiences. But yeah.
thank you for joining us, and we hope to see you again next week. Bye.
Bye.
If you're digging the Unearthing Games podcast, give us a positive rating on your podcast directory, or give us a thumbs up on our YouTube channel. Share the podcast with your DM or local game shop owner or your best friend. And check out our website at unearthinggames.com. The Unearthing Games podcast is recorded in front of a live puppy audience. All borks, ruffs, jingles, and squeaks are completely original and not added in post.